everyone, Eric, morningtechmeeting.com, and today I would like to talk a little bit about the difference between being a craftsman or being a hack. It is all too common in the trades, whether it be plumbing, HVAC, electrical, carpet cleaning, water damage, remodel construction, you name it, to have way too many hacks and very few craftsmen. Good news is if you can become a craftsman, you can basically name your price and you're going to always have work. If you're a hack, you're going to be out there competing against the low end, and it's not going to be a fun life. So always better to be on this side. Okay, we want to work ourselves into craftsmen. I certainly was not a craftsman when I started working in the trades when I was young. I didn't have really much mentorship, and it took me several years to figure out the guys who do well behave this way, and the guys who always struggle behave this way. And I want to dig deep on that so that you guys can start moving yourselves over here and don't have to go through all the figuring it out process that I did. So let's talk about the first thing. The easiest thing to do is how well groomed you are. A craftsman is going to be well groomed. They're going to be clean shaven. If they have facial hair, they're going to trim it. They're going to make sure that their hair is combed and neat. They're going to have a uniform shirt or a t-shirt or something. You don't need to look like a banker or a mortgage broker. You don't need a three-piece suit. They don't expect that. They just expect you to look professional and smell good. So, this is the easiest thing to do to make yourself stand out because most hacks are unkempt. They don't care. They roll out of bed, wife beater, or a 3-day-old t-shirt with paint all over from yesterday's job, bedhead, 3 days of stubble, and they reek of cigarettes and booze, right? It sounds harsh, but I've seen it so many times, it's painful, And whether that person is good at that person who looks like that might be great at being a technician, but it's such an uphill battle when you look that way. So don't do that. Don't get that look. Be well groomed and they'll trust you quicker. So big deal. Next thing, trucks and vans. Keep them clean. Keep them organized. A craftsman is going to have an organized van. There's going to be a place for everything and everything in its place. It's more efficient. It's a better look. If the customer ever comes out and looks in the back of your van, which happens a lot more than we all think it does, if it's all neat and tidy, they're going to think the world of us. Plus, if you're on a job and, you need that 1/2-inch bolt and you walk into the van and it's in this little spot and they're always here and then you put it back, your day goes easier. It's better. It's better for everybody. Everybody wins. A hack, they don't care about their truck. They just huck the stuff in from yesterday's jobs. And then when they need to find stuff, you see them rummaging around and there's rusted nuts and bolts and tools and broken things everywhere. And it's a mess. And, it sounds funny like I'm only talking about one guy that I met one time. Well, that's not true. I've seen it all the time, and it's been an uphill battle over the years with my blue-collar service business to keep my guys, and we were on them all the time, to still keep their van organized and clean. It's a daily thing. Every day we should keep our van looking good. Next thing, tools. A craftsman is always going to invest in themselves. And they understand that having good tools is a huge part of that success. So much like a college student, if I went to college when I was younger, I took out loans, I had to buy my own books, I had to, get my own housing, and I had to pay and pay and pay. Why was I doing that? I wanted a better life. So I was investing in myself to go to college in hopes that would parlay itself into success. Well, let's say you become a technician at a young age, or even an old age. You need to invest in yourself. I mean, the company may give you some rudimentary tools to get going. Most companies aren't going to completely dial you out with every single high-end tool that you need. It's your responsibility to figure out what you need to do in tool-wise to invest in yourself so that you can be a real professional technician, and then take care of those tools and make sure they're in good working order. That's what a craftsman does. Hack, they don't invest in themselves. They invest in the weekend. They invest in partying. They're going to take their beer money and then not invest in those tools, right? So an easy way to separate yourself from other guys who aren't willing to invest in themselves. They're going to have bad tools, poor quality, broken, and not enough tools for the job. I have literally been on jobs and seen tradesmen ask a client for a tool because they don't have one. So imagine that. I'm in the house, I got a plumber under the sink, and he says, "Hey, Eric, do you have a crescent wrench that would fit this? Because I don't have one that fits that size." My head would explode. I'd probably fire him on the spot, to be honest. It's like, that happens way more than it ever should. So invest in yourself, get good tools. How your work area is staged. A craftsperson is going to stage out their tools, their parts. They're going to do the preliminary work to keep their work area neat. They're going to put down property protection, make sure the house is good and taken care of. And that is such a great look to the client. They're going to appreciate that. And on the technical side, you're going to be quicker and do better work when it's staged like that. I wrote on here, hammer on the countertop. My biggest pet peeve on earth. You walk into a job to check on it, and you got a technician, and he put his hammer or drill on the granite countertop. I mean, is there a worse look than that? I mean, that drives me insane. And it's driving the customer insane too, even if they don't say anything. Hacks, they're putting stuff everywhere. There's garbage everywhere. There's no staging. There's no process. There's no thought to it. And it shows. The clients notice these things. And they just make little mental notes. I think I'm going to call somebody else next time. And if you're a business owner and you're sending technicians out who are doing this stuff, your business is failing because of this, right? We need to move everybody in the company over to this side, to the Craftsman side. Next step, craftsmen, clean as they go. So as they finish one task, they tidy and move to the next task so that their work area is always clean. So let's say they had a 2-day job. At any given time during that job, it would be essentially clean because they keep cleaning as they go because they recognize that you're going to get a better result and it's more efficient if you do that. A hack's a mess. Like I said earlier, you're going to walk in and there's going to be stuff everywhere. And when it's like that, you can't do a good job. Nobody can work well in a messy environment. It just doesn't work. So basically, these are the basic things that all technicians need to do to separate themselves from struggling and not making money to thriving and making money. And that's why I put a bunch of dollar signs under here. If you can do all the things in the Craftsman thing in column, you're going to succeed. Competition is not so stiff that if you don't do these things well, you won't get a lot of work and get top dollar for that work. You're doomed. If you live in this column, you're going to have a really hard time making money. Customers want professionalism. That's what they pay for, especially now in the age of Yelp and all these other social media outlets that judge us as tradespeople. Social media will not tolerate this, and you will get nuked online if you're doing these things. And then what happens is all you can do to get work is keep bringing your price lower. Well, how low are you going to make your price? You won't make any money. You won't turn a profit. It's not even worth it, right? So you want to be over here. So anyway, having daily training is the key to moving all the technicians to this side. You guys have a great day. Eric with morningtechmeeting.com.